Hello?
Hey, what's up, Mar?
Yo, how's it going?
Doing good. Yeah, it's been a chill weekend. A lot of melee.
Awesome. No, that's sweet. How have you been finding keeping Marth in the corner? And we talked a little bit about mix-ups last time as well. Um,
Yeah, it's very effective. Lasering more, the F tilt, the grab. I do find myself like replaying the situation a lot, but I guess that's just the game.
yeah. No, that really is just the game. Like that's where you want to keep Marth ideally, right? So yeah, no, that makes sense. Unless you mean specifically like replaying the situation, like you're not pushing him back to back off stage kind of thing. Maybe we could talk about that. But
No, I think I'm doing a good job getting him into the corner and like rinsing and repeating. But like if he starts in the corner at 30, I'm gonna have to play that edge guard out like 6 times before I get the stock. And maybe there's ways for me to close out the stock earlier. Like I'm definitely struggling with edge guards against it.
okay, for sure. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, there's definitely different ways you can start to close out the edge guards a little sooner. I'll be the first to tell you I'm not the best at doing that, with just with Falco, just because
Mhm.
like I'm obviously a Marth player. But in general, yeah, I mean, I would say that like the idea behind edge guarding Marth, because Marth is like an annoying character kind of edge guard if you don't know like the kind of thought process behind it. Is to kind of like take away his resources so that he's just stuck without an up B. If he has his side B and his up B, or sorry, his side B and his double jump, not up B. So you want to be able to take his resources away so that he can't recover without his double jump. If he only has side B or up B as a mix up, like most invincible attacks will just beat it. So like rising down air from ledge, rising back air. You could do a falling back air, like you could just YOLO down air. But like those options that normally seem like if you go for it you'll die, they usually work pretty well if Marth doesn't have his double jump to mix up his timing and spacings. Because side B really only keeps him falling downwards, like rising down air would just beat that from ledge kind of thing.
Mm.
Or Marth Killer. Like Marth Killer becomes 10 times stronger, and like you should go for it if he doesn't have his double jump, right? So a lot of it's trying to like bait him into using that earlier. Um, so like lasers help with that a lot. Just the threat of like an invincible aerial, something like that. Um, and I think a lot of that, if you wanted to bait Marth to do that at the ledge, like if you can see like the no fly zone picture I have here. Look, I'll show you. So in this picture, right, the Marth is double jumping. So you could imagine like if Falco's right here in this space, you could even do like the laser F tilt you were talking about over here, right? Laser F tilt maybe at 15 might not send him too far, and you might just end up grabbing the ledge anyway. So maybe if it was like 15%, I'd probably recommend like laser F smash at the ledge, and you just knock him out for that. Um, but even like laser back air, laser jab into something, right? A lot you have those kind of options, but if you could force Marth to stop double jumping here, you're gonna be forcing him to going low or high. High, you can intercept the double jump and kill him with a back air. Low, you can intercept the he would have to do the double jump up B mix up. But there's ways you can go about beating that specifically. That the when Marth goes low, Marth should recover low more often than not. So um, that's where the actual mix up comes in, is like, okay, is he gonna double jump? Is he gonna double jump side B? Is he gonna just up B right up? Like you can't possibly cover those all at once, so you kind of have to have some inclination. Um, but I know like Cody, for example, like he has a flowchart where he bases that a lot around like Marth, how he uses Marth Killer or Shine or Full Hop. Um, Obviously those don't work exactly the same with Falco because his Full Hop and Shine are different. But I'm sure there is a similar flowchart that you could follow for that.
Got it. Yeah, I find I'm pretty good when Marth goes high because I just, refresh until he's close and then I bear him and he dies.
Yeah. No, yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
that's
going live. I don't have the flow chart.
yeah. I so I would say that might be something I would recommend outside of the lesson to look into.
Cool.
Just because if you can cover like to the ledge and above the ledge pretty fine, and you have like the theory behind it, which again is like eliminating his resources, which seems like you kind of already got a grasp on. Yeah, you back air him out of his double jump, he just dies, right? Because he up B doesn't go very far. I almost think of it like edge guarding Luigi, right? Where it's like Luigi can only go up with his up B, and that's really it. Obviously, Marth's up B is better than Luigi's, but the point being, if you take away everything else he has, he's just gonna die, right? In a worst case scenario, even if you can't kill him, if you think you're bad at the timing, you at least get Marth Killer, where you get a down air or a back air mix up off once he lands on stage, right? So even that alone is pretty solid against Marth. But yeah, that's what I'd recommend for that. I would say try and check that out outside of the lesson for the true flowchart. But just from playing Marth Falco a lot of the time it's based around Marth Killer, how many resources I have, or just like a raw timing mix up.
Okay, cool.
But yeah.
Um,
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I guess two other things I'm thinking about, and feel free to come at me with your ideas too. But one is just I feel like my combos against Marth are getting better, but always wondering what more like standard combos there are and what I can do.
Okay.
But then also, I think it'd just be really helpful to play again and see what you think is weak for me. Like the lulls in neutral thing, that was a huge tip, and
Yeah.
yeah, we would never have known otherwise.
Sure. I mean, so I'll ask you this. I am happy to play you if that's what you'd like. But more often than not, like I've been finding personally that it's just more helpful for me to find someone a little bit around my skill level a little more, and I'll analyze that because then I feel like you have more actionable tips right away. Versus like if I'm gonna like do like 50 different things that we haven't really talked about against you, it might not really pan out that way. But if that's what you're looking for, that's totally fine too. I know some people prefer to only play people who like, you know, place a little further in tournament kind of thing. So I'm happy to do that as well. Uh,
I guess my trouble with the video, I've done that with like coaches before, and it tends to get kind of micro, like on specific things.
yeah,
I don't know.
no,
I feel
that's
like the faster ID things slide.
yeah, no, that's totally fine. I mean, yeah, I personally am not really, especially when we only have an hour. Like, yeah, I don't like getting into the micro a lot. I'll usually just keep it to like one or two simple things I notice at a game. So if you want to do it just where we play that, and you can kind of like think about it while you're playing, and I'll look for the one or two things. Like that works too. That's not a problem.
Okay, yeah, let's give that a shot.
Okay, cool. So I'll give you my connect code in chat. Um, cool. So you can have that. And have you and I talked about like note servers before and like how to take notes in Melee?
No, I just used the second laptop.
You use what, sorry?
I just use a second laptop and I've got a big old dock.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, let's talk about that for like 2 minutes just before we play. Like literally two. It's not long. It's something I'm trying to push on a lot of students right now. So I'm very big on taking notes in Melee just in general. I think the reason why I was suggesting VOD review a minute ago is because there's a lot of the times when you play a game, like let's say you play a ranked set or a tournament set, and you might lose, and like I'm guilty of this. Like I'll walk away being like, that guy literally just lasered in the corner, that puff just back aired me, like that Marth just F smash, blah blah blah, right? And it's like maybe I am getting hit by those moves, but obviously if that's just what they were doing, I wouldn't be losing, right? That like anybody can relate to that. So I'm very big on VOD analysis, and with that, I'm very big on taking notes. And I've personally found the most effective way to take notes, especially for tournament, if you want to be ready and prepared for it, is to create your own Discord server. So if you look at my screen here, I have this little server down here. I call it Melee Notes. You can call it whatever you like. But it's basically just a server where like I am putting in notes about each character in their own like little channel. And what I'm finding out from them, right? So I'll give you an example. Like this is my notes against Yoshi, and I would argue now, because I've taken a lot of these notes, like I'm a very good Marth against Yoshi. But like just like small things, like here's a optimization I found where I can get more off a tech chase to the ledge instead of always grabbing in the spot. I can do a DI mix up here, and I can up B, and he might die like way earlier, right? Small things like that. Or like against Pikachu, I just have notes on like how to deal with Pikachu Nair. Like these are different resources I found. Luigi, I just have like some basics because I have a pretty good handle on this matchup. But like Ganon, I have like just small notes here and there, right? Tons of notes on Link randomly because I'll play with Aklo a lot. But the point being, I think this is like a really great way to keep your notes organized. Something I haven't done either yet is you can create like little threads, right? So if I were to create a thread, I could put like all my edge guarding notes in one. And that's why I really like Discord as well. It's like if I'm ever at a tournament, it's so easy to pull this up on my phone, search the word edge guard, and then here's all my notes on edge guarding, right?
That is cool. It's a good search feature.
Yeah.
Yeah, uh, I'm showing you the note stock I've got. I
Mhm.
used to be a product manager, so I'm a docs fiend,
Okay,
and
nice. Yeah.
yeah, kind of like general matchups. Marth definitely developing thanks to our lessons. I'll for sure have more filled out by the end of the lesson. Here's what I got last time.
No, this is great. Okay, awesome. Cool.
Yeah, definitely a taker.
Okay, cool. No, so I think yeah, that's actually a very organized way to do it. So that's good for you. Because yeah, I'm getting a lot of my students right now. Like here's one of them that they're doing, and they're just taking screenshots. This is what I like it for as well. It's posting screenshots in here, so they'll just take situations that they're trying to get in, do it like that. But if you can pull that up while you're playing a tournament, I think that's perfectly fine. I don't see any issue with that.
Sweet.
Because a lot of people they just have like a single Google Doc, um,
Yeah,
so yeah, no, that's great. Okay, cool. So as long as you're taking notes, I'm happy with that.
awesome.
And sorry,
Yeah, and if we do finish the like sets versus each other and get some stuff out of that, I did play a Marth yesterday, so I do have
okay,
some
yeah,
thought
no,
actually use.
that's great. Yeah, let's do that. Sorry, what is your code?
MTDR 698.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm searching for you
Nope,
again
you're good.
now. You got him pretty early with Mar 10. That's a low number.
Yeah, I got it pretty earlier. I just like it because it kind of spells Mario,
Oh, like, yeah, I'm on the main account. It's an honor.
Okay, so we'll play 2 games on Battlefield if that works for you.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, I'm just gonna look for like 2 big habits I can find, and we'll talk about those.
perfect. Mhm.
Okay.
Cool.
I've got two habits pretty good right now. I'm gonna look for two more just in case, but I know you have two for sure, so we can talk about those after this next one.
Awesome.
Okay. Um, I think I have some pretty good habits we could talk about right now. But I'm curious, do you want to keep playing, or do you want to talk about your perspective first, or do you want to just jump right in?
Give my thoughts first, see if I'm on it.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, let's see. I mean, I got stuck in shield sometimes, and I think I need to wave dash out of shield faster.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe I was doing some DIs that led to tippers, like I tend to survival DI a little too hard. That was probably all I noticed. I don't think I dove in as much as last time, but I was probably still being a little predictable.
No, I think you definitely held back a little bit. I would actually argue maybe a little bit too much this time.
Oh,
So,
okay.
um, I do think you've quite made a difference in the lulls and neutral thing. You don't have as predictable of a timing now, which is good. And I think your corner pressure was actually pretty solid. I liked the use of like shine grab on shields. You did laser F tilt from certain spacings. Um, kind of held center at some points. Um, I think the main issue would be once I was able to find a way through, because there was a couple points. I'll pull up game one. Um, there was actually a couple points where you pretty solidly kept me in the corner, which was good. Um, the issue comes when I'm actually making it through.
Sorry, I think I clicked like stop looking at Mars screen or something at some point. Can you reshare if you're sharing?
Oh yeah, sorry. One sec. Okay, should be live now.
Hmm.
Um,
Let's hop back on the call because I'm not seeing it.
sorry.
maybe let's disconnect and reconnect.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay. Hey.
Hey,
So, yeah.
perfect.
Like I said, big thing that stood out to me. I'm gonna skip past this first talk because I don't think really too much happened the first talk. It was just us getting info. Um, big thing that I noticed was you actually did lock me in the corner quite well. And even here, actually, this is interesting because this is the next habit I was going to talk about. Was I think your usage of platforms could be improved a little. Um, but I'm gonna keep it on here first. I want to talk about stage control. So here you have me in the corner, right, grabbing me off, which is great, right, keeping me in an edge guard, and then we're still scrapping. You have me like in a good combo. So there you play it effectively because eventually you lead to a platform tech chase, right? Not to say that's necessarily what you have to be looking for, but you keep the pressure on and you get a kill, right? Which is great. So I want to look at the next time you have me in the corner. So here I'm killing you. Okay, so this looks kind of like it. So you get a hit. Have me in the corner, right? Get a good grab. Still stuck in the corner, which is great. Get some pressure. Now I'm in the other corner. And here I just get a dumb reversal. So it's like, okay, whatever. Let's talk about next time you have me in the corner. So here you have me in the corner. Right? Get caught by get up attack jumping here. But I'm still effectively kind of in the corner. Get a grab. These are F tilt. Right? So here, next corner. Still keep me in, right? That's good. So I think at first you were playing the corner game a little strong. The second would come, and like here I'm in the corner too. The second would come from when I'm not directly on ledge and I have opportunity to scrap.
Yeah.
Either two things would happen pretty regular. One, I would get a hit, which is like, that's tough, but you might notice that a lot of the times I am getting hits is because you're just jumping in place. Like here you're doing shine, but you're jumping after the shine, if that makes sense. And then a little bit back here, when you get hit in the corner, I'm just trying to pull it up. Right, jumping there again with back air. My thought, and the big one I noticed is when you do lose an opening on this. Right, so here'd be a great example, I think, better than the other one. Right, you keep me in the corner, and I get a get up attack. Just waiting for it. I'm just trying to find it. Sorry. Well, even here, yeah, right here. So right, you tech roll away, which is fine. But I think you give up stage control a little too much. Once I get out of the corner, right? So I'm just trying to find it here. This is a combo. This might just be a kill. Okay, no. Okay, well here, we can talk about this right here. This is what I'm looking for mostly. So this is like true neutral, right? We talked about this a little while ago. Up here, wherever it is, the picture, right? True neutral.
Yep.
Spacing's a little different. And you have me, I'm closer to the corner than the center of the stage here, right? It's pretty similar, but being technical about it here, right? I dash back, which is like whatever, Marth should be dashing back. But you're also backing off here with laser, right? And when we reach true neutral, a certain spacing, I think this certain spacing is like a good point for recognition. I wouldn't be able to hit you with forward air from this distance, right? Because the threat of laser at any point, just standing laser in place, or, well, like, you know what I mean? Not literal standing laser, but like laser in place kind of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's going to stop Marth from wanting to come in all the time because you don't he's never gonna know if you're gonna do a high laser or a low laser, or if you're gonna shield or do anything else. The risk reward of him doing a fair that early on shield or end nair or whatever is not worth it. But here
Because
you
you'd
go.
have to drift in with the fair like pretty slowly, so I've got time to mix up, right?
It's yes, but no. Like, yeah, you're right that I would have to drift in with the fair, and that's pretty slow, and I'm vulnerable in the air. Yes. Where I would say it's not necessarily you have time to react and mix up. It's more like if you're doing anything, your options are gonna beat Marth in that spot. Does that make sense? Like you have more options in that spot. It's not about necessarily you have the time to react. If from a further distance, the same situation could happen. Yeah, you might, but at that distance, you probably wouldn't have time to react outright and get a full aerial out in response. But you do have the time to like probably shield on reaction, which would beat that. You have the time to dash back, wave dash back, shoot a laser, but you might not get a full laser out on reaction in that time, but you can get it, you know? Does that make sense? And a
Yeah.
lot of the time, we're not true reacting to everything in Melee, especially when it comes to distance like that. I would argue it's very important to force those distances quite often, where it's unreactable but in your favor a lot of the time. Not only just because like you can play that without reactions, right? If we keep running into this situation, you have a good indication of what I'm gonna do. Chances are, if the other person isn't reacting, they're gonna do a similar option again. And that's something just top players abuse all the time. It's just like situational awareness, right? That's why they're able to like. That's why Mango's able to talk and play when he plays Melee on stream all the time, just because he's been in these situations a million times, and he's able to like really quickly figure out like, okay, there's person's gonna do this here, they're gonna do this here. I could reach out or something now, right? Maybe not literally reach out. He might still have to look at the screen, but once he sets up that spot, he doesn't really have to use too much brain power. So yeah, the point being, I would argue, I think a big thing is that you're keeping these corner situations pretty well. You're locking me in the corner for a lot of the game. But the second I get out, I feel like you back off a little bit. Like even right here, there's another great example, right? Sure, the pressure's on here a little bit, where I come out of the corner, put you in a tech chase, and now you're in the corner. But then I dash back so far, you get up in my face to like close to true neutral, maybe a little bit too close, but like pretty close too, right? And you back off still, right? So now you're in the corner. Now we're both in the corner, but it's like Marth in the corner is what you want. You in the corner isn't necessarily the case.
Yeah.
Obviously, Marth doesn't literally want to be in the corner all the time, but he's okay to be like this far. If this is the literal corner we're talking about, he's okay to be this far back because he always has dash back grab, right? Falco doesn't really have that luxury. He kind of has his like out of shield movement, and that's it. So I think that's a big one right away. Is like you're giving up stage control quite often, and where your advantage right now that you're pushing very hard is locking Marth in the corner. It is a bit strange that you're giving it up in some spots, right?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
one.
I guess what kind of gets me is that like with those closer spacings, like when I'm in your dash attack range or jump cancel grab range,
Mhm.
and like the drift in fair, I guess it's just like I don't know. It's I'm not entirely sure what to do because a little
Okay.
further back, I can just run around and try to bait you out with lasers and dash dances. And a little close, I kind of have to commit to something, and that's when I tend to get dash back grabbed or something like that.
Yeah. So that is actually the third habit that I think you need to push more. Ironically enough, the third one I got from game 2. So we could talk about that one now because it is like directly correlated, but that one might go a little bit more into a rabbit hole and like a bigger explanation.
Okay.
So I could save that for you if you want, or we could just keep it on topic and make the whole thing about this situation if you'd like.
Whatever, coach.
Sorry?
Whatever you think, coach.
Okay. Yeah, let's keep it. We'll keep that one in mind. So the point being, I'm just gonna write down the habits right now. In fact, that actually just gonna be easier. So point being habit one that I think you could work on is giving up too much space. Right. Trying to close the distance more and not shoot lasers from across the stage. Because it obviously there's cases where there are Marth players who like get really frustrated by laser camping Falco in the corner, quote unquote, and will start doing bad options. I feel like the ones who know the matchup a little more from how to play against Falco, they're not going to get flustered too much. Okay, I'm going to put abusing X for now. We'll talk about it after.
Okay.
Second point I noticed a lot is staying very grounded out of scraps. So this is like kind of related to what we're talking about, but it does kind of lead to a separate point. 3 is like more of an answer for how you can get better at 1. 2 is kind of like issue number 2, right?
Oh, yeah, that's an interesting one because I've got a bad habit of full hopping, so I'm really trying to stay grounded.
Okay.
So, wait.
Well, yeah, I would argue you were staying grounded to a fault. I noticed when we started this VOD review, here you're actually like using the full hop and abusing it. Like, is it going to go to top plat or no? You fake it out here twice. But I can understand why if you're getting caught for a full hop, you might not want to do it a ton. But I would argue after a certain point, you kind of just stay in short hop range for almost the entirety of the game.
Yeah.
And it's not even to say that it's not even to say actually I'm going to write down one more habit, sorry, just before I forget it, because I know I'm going to go into a couple rabbit holes here. Okay, we're going to talk about freebies that you had later. It's not even to say that short hop range and laser is bad, because like obviously like on stages like FD, like you're going to have to do that. But we're not playing FD, right? This is like a stage where you have a little bit more use out of the platforms. Marth gets some use out of the platforms, but Falco gets way, way more. Specifically, I think what you were doing on this first stock here, obviously the distance isn't too great, but where you're full hopping on the right side when we get to it, I think that's fine. And I think you could actually introduce that a little bit more in your play at closer distances, right? It's tough to say exactly when to do it because you, of course, when you're jumping in the air, you always do have the risk of getting hit by fair. So I would recommend it's one of those things where you have to condition Marth to stay more grounded, which you can do just by lasering at the beginning of a game. But later on in the game, I think you could be using even like the side platforms, like just quickly wave landing on a side platform and just shielding and having the mix up of shield or shield drop back air and just following through with a safe space back air is really strong. Because if in my head, like Marth wants to stay grounded all the time. So if Falco's staying grounded with him, quote unquote, it's really not the worst outside of like just trying to get the right laser timing, right? And so you can watch it while I'm playing here. All I'm trying to do right now is just get close to you and get a grab. So, like watch. There you're coming to me, all I have to do is react and shield, but I know you're not going to like mix up your timing, right? But even if we play this exact same situation again, I'm just going to pull it back up here, right? Sure, you do approaching laser here, but there's nothing to say, which approaching laser isn't bad, honestly. It's fine in this matchup.
Yeah, it's a bad habit. Should be shying ground.
Yeah. But even here, right? If I know I'm going to shield after this one, after this laser, there's nothing to say instead of this jump forward with a laser, you couldn't double jump down air or back air my shield, right? Yeah, I think also there's a lot of points where like even where we're talking about like right here, right? You're playing the same spacing again where it's like, okay, lull in neutral right now. You land, run to the other side, right? Which I would say is fine. But you don't have to go in right away, right? So here, I think you're still doing better, and you're catching yourself here for a lull in neutral, it seems like.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, all right, ready, go. Oh, wait, no, I'm not supposed to do this, right? And then you jump back, but then you're still back in the same spot, and you go right back in, right? Doing it again. But do you see how it's the same motion 3 times in a row?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I have like other than like trying to run in and dash back, like I don't know too many other mix-ups.
Yeah, like the character does. You're not using them. So
Right.
like yeah, so you land here, right? similar spacing, like true neutral, right? You jump in, you get ready to like, it almost looks like you're gonna short hop nair at me. So that's why I'm like just holding down and shielding, ready for you to catch an early nair. Same thing, I'm like, okay, he's not doing it. But you do it there again, you jump right back in. And then here, you do it, but this time I was gonna hit you for it, right? And you do get it. So it's like, it's not to say that it can't work. But the problem is, watch what I'm doing right now when you're doing all this. I'm shielding, okay, back off, going on platform, right? And I'm just going back to that exact same spot, ready to hit you. This time, obviously, I wasn't ready for it, so that's more on me. But my point that I'm trying to make out of this is, I do think you're, like I said, I think you are getting better at not having like the lull and neutral predictability. But I still think a lot of your options are kind of like similar. So where I think you could be better with point 2 is staring very grounded. Grounded doesn't literally mean for me on the ground. It's just like that general like short hop ground space. I think you need to abuse platforms more. I think this would have been a great opportunity to just like full hop to the platform here, right? And you're doing it kind of already with the double jump just because Falco's double jump is so high. But this is a fine spot to like take a breather in neutral. Like it's fine to extend neutral in melee. Like a lot of Falcos or even Foxes in general will just try and have a scrap like as much as they can because their buttons are good enough. It's very likely an option will hit.
Yeah.
But on paper, it doesn't really make sense to do that a lot of the time, right? Like there's no reason you can't go to the top platform here, wait a second, see what I'm going to do, and play from there. I wouldn't recommend staying on the top platform a ton. And maybe in this specific spot, it's not the greatest. But I think just as an example overall, it's something you need to abuse more. It almost feels like the top platform on the entirety of this Battlefield game. I'm just going to let it play while we talk. It almost feels like the top platform in this whole game like doesn't really exist, you know? You're staying very much below this lower platform, except for there where you're getting a combo. But there's not much movement to it, right?
Yeah, I guess one of the reasons for that is it feels like whenever Mart's under me, he's just up tilting and up airing me.
Yeah.
So I try to get to ground a lot. I'm wondering how to prevent Marth from.
Well,
He's a really strong shark game.
he does have a decently strong shark game, but even on like FD, for example, like Marths aren't keeping Falco in the air every time they get a grab, right? Like they're gonna chain grab them and combo them for sure. But like let's say like Marth up tilts you at like 80%. It's very rare you're actually stuck above him to death because Falco has strong priority and he's a fast faller. And why those matter is your fast fall timing between like regular fall and fast fall is just too quick for Marth to be able to keep up with you. He can't effectively shark you in that sense, you know?
Yeah.
And even still, like falling with back air auto cancels from a high distance. So if Marth tries to punish you for like falling with back air, he might be able to swing you out of the air if he has the right timing. But a lot of the times Marth will just stay on the ground and try and catch the Falco coming down anyway with grab. You can just put out an instant up tilt behind you and like punish him for getting too close, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Marth isn't like, I understand the fear of it, and like especially from staying up here, you don't want to fall literally on top of him. But because you have so much room with the platforms and the stage is big enough, you just go the opposite direction, and Falco will get to the ground quicker. And if Marth gets up in your face, like I said, especially if your back is facing to him, he's really not a threat to you because you have the option of landing with up tilt or landing with a back air, right? Or even just doing back air into up tilt. Like that's normally a pressure string Falcos will do on shield anyway. But yeah, I think just in general, I don't think you're abusing the platforms nearly enough. Even like the side platforms, like instead of having to go in, like you could let Marth come to you a little bit and you could fake like coming down off the platform with a laser. You could go on use a shield. You could do shield drop and double jump back on, right? So here you're keeping me in the corner. That's great. But even I think rather than doing like get in my face, land from the top platform all the way to here where I'm likely to get a hit on you or a scrap is given away, right? You could even just like go up here, fall through back to where you are in this good position where we talk about for keep him in the corner, right? But I think, yeah, I would argue that the habit of not using platforms enough is more of like a, and I can tell you're like keeping your eyes on me, which is good. Like your focus is clearly on Marth. It just feels like you're like chasing him a little. Like if Marth isn't going on the top platform or on a platform, why should I, right?
Yeah.
But that's not really where I would say you should keep it.
Got it.
I think we talked about even in this position, right? Like if you jump up to a platform, you can threaten a back air if they try and wave dash in. I think that's just something that's missing.
Yeah, I did use that a bit yesterday, and it was really good.
Yeah.
Like, every time. I didn't even see any counterplay from him really.
Yeah. Well, a lot of time it's just tough to punish Falco in that position, right? It's not necessarily you have to like beat him out of it, but like Marth will try and even like just swing at Falco on a platform from the side, and they'll just get back aired for it, you know, like she'll drop back air.
Yeah.
Um,
So you wait to take the hit as Falco, or
you can wait, or you can just full hop and retreat to top plat and like reset neutral. Like you don't. It's not necessarily advantageous or disadvantageous position. I would say it's just another spot like standing on the stage. But the problem is with platforms, a lot of people just see it as a cue to go do something. So it's something that's abusable. Does that make sense?
yeah, I think so.
So it's like, it's not necessarily you should do XYZ on a platform. It's you should introduce it into your game so you have an option. Because I would argue, just while I'm not paying attention to specifically where you're moving on the stage, I'm just watching you to see habits. If you go to a platform, I'm just going to think, oh, he's not going to do anything with it right now. He's staying grounded this whole time. And I probably would swing at you, and that's your cue to get a back air kind of thing, right?
Okay, cool. Yeah, I guess it just increases like the tree of options I have, which makes me harder to predict.
Exactly. It makes not only your timings mixed up, but your spacing mixed up, and it makes Marth uncomfortable to move in a certain spot. If the whole point of Falco neutral is to make Marth uncomfortable and want him to try and swing at you where you can get a punish, or keep him locked in where he feels like he can't get out, right? We talked about that with the corner specifically. Marths are going to be scared to do anything if you keep them locked in enough. So the second that you give them like an ounce of freedom, quote unquote, by going to the platform, it's very likely they will just try and swing at you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's like I said, it's not to say that that's a free position. They could run to center stage a lot of the time, but most Marths won't in this spot, and I think that's something you can abuse more. Even still, just getting back to like a lull and neutral here, you're doing it again, right? The jump in, double jump back. Yeah. Even just going to a platform just to like ground yourself in that sense, I think would help you a lot.
Okay.
So not even as like a punish thing, just to like keep yourself, have more control of the character and the stage itself.
Cool.
So yeah, not to go in a rabbit hole on that one. Let's try and get up some new points. So option 3 was abusing X for the dash tech range, GC fair, drift and fair. So we talked about true neutral, quote unquote. This one is a little far out for what we were talking about before, but it's still pretty close, right? And I think a big thing that you're missing from your play is crouch cancel. Probably, I would argue, one of the biggest in this matchup specifically. The main reason being, not even necessarily because it's so great that you get a punish off of it, but it's because of the threat and the strength that it adds to your walling strats that you're using right now. You don't really have locked in, I would say. So I want to talk about different ways you can use crouch cancel first, if that's okay. And then we'll kind of apply it like to specifically where I think you should be using it more. So crouch cancel, I would argue, is definitely like the big thing in Melee, like now versus, I don't know, 2015. More people are holding down more than ever, right? And it's not just because of CC, it's also ASDI, which I think you could use a little bit more on up air combos, but we could talk about that another time, I think, just because that's more complicated. Crouch cancel is really important because now what crouch cancel effectively is forcing in the meta as a whole is that even if you get a hit, it might not be the right option to go for, right? I mean, that's always been the case. That's how crouch cancel works, but it's specifically important because in neutral, it kind of dictates what moves are quote unquote usable and what ones aren't. So an example being like, you might read like old Marth guides from like 2012 or 2013, even from PPMD, that says like, oh yeah, Jab is actually an excellent move in neutral against Falco for Marth, because it catches laser startup so well and it has such a far distance and whatever, right? Nowadays, it's not so great because it's like Falco can hold down and he can get a punish off of you for doing it. Or like some Marths will do, you'll hear a big one is like take laser fair. They'll jump at you, intentionally get hit by the laser and try and fair you. And they'll do full drift in on it. But the problem is with that, if Falco is like good at holding down, if they're a solid Falco, they're just going to shine you for it every single time and get a kill off it, right? So like I said, it dictates what moves are usable, quote unquote, neutral, and which ones aren't. Like a big reason down tilt isn't used much in this matchup is because CC is so strong, and it's just too hard to precisely space one when lasers are coming in your face, and you can get it. Falcon can drift in and hit you at any point, right? Mm-hmm. I would say. So that's why it's good. As far as like where you can use it, a lot of people just try and think like, okay, if I'm playing neutral, and I'm gonna pull up melee just because it'll be quicker to show than to explain it all word by word.
Cool.
A lot of people have a tendency to think, I would say, crouch cancel is just used as a move, like shielding is, right? So like, oh yeah, I can get in your face, right, and hold down and bait out a move, right? And that's how most people just think of it. Or like they'll be dash dancing in center, hoping that your opponent will come hit you, and then they crouch, right? Hoping that something will happen.
Yeah.
But good players, I don't think, do that at all. They actually will find little spots where it's like more effective than not. So I think crouch cancel is like an interesting mechanic nowadays because it's kind of like jumping, I would say, or like wave dashing, where it's like there's no one right way to wave dash, right? You use wave dash to do something. And I would say crouch canceling is like that. You can use crouch canceling to bait an attack. You can use it to force a wall. You can use it to keep yourself safe after a landing. So where I like to use it a lot, and especially as Falco when I'm playing Falco, it's just doing this. Laser into crouch. This is insanely strong. Because if Marth tries to come in and hit you with any move, other than grab, which like, why would a Marth ever want to try and grab this, right? So they're obviously going to try and swing an attack. This is insanely strong. You get a free punish off this. And especially in the corner here, right? We're talking about trying to beat Marths who do like this full drift and fair and try and swing at you. Even if you are a little bit in a dangerous spot, right? Instead of having to do like laser, let him hit your shield, wave dash back, right? You can just do this and get a direct punish off it, right?
Yeah.
If he's too close. So why I like to say like just laser into crouch is very strong is because it effectively forces a wall, right? Though I don't know the best example for it. I kind of think of like a assist trophy from Smash 4 where there's a giant green hand pushing out. I like to think of the laser as that big hand that's just a wall pushing out. But so it's like they get past the wall, quote unquote, of the laser, but then on top of it, you have the immovable wall, which is Falco holding down, right? I know that's like a bit of an exaggeration, but the point being, it's like they cannot hit you or get past you. Even if they try and run past you, you can act out of your crouch instantly and just start chasing them, right?
Yeah.
So that's a very big one. Just for anywhere on the stage, having this as an option is very, very strong. Especially even like approaching. Some people will, if you might be fine like doing like approaching laser, right, and trying to hit someone's shield, and then you can go in with like laser nair, laser shine is very common. Some people will try and dash back and swing at you preemptively. Well, now you have laser CC, and that's gonna just destroy them because they're already just reacting to the laser you coming in timing, right?
Cool.
So it's very good for interrupting timings, and I would say interrupting spacings in neutral. Other big ones I'd say where you could definitely use it a lot more is from a platform, right? Some people will do shield drop back air. You can literally just do run off into down hold if they're if they're sharking you on a platform. Just doing shield drop CC, or if they're like, let's say they're dash dancing over here and you're over here, just doing this is really great at baiting out a response because they're going to try and hit you coming down from the platform, right? It's very common. People will do this, and Marths will try and swing at you for doing it. You can do this, punish them for swinging. I would argue one of the biggest ones, and ones I think Falcos in general should push more, is instead of doing double laser, right? Everyone says, "Oh no, you should ledge dash. Ledge dash is way stronger." Um, ledge dash is extra stronger if you do like ledge dash into crouch, right?
Hmm.
No
Yeah.
one, no one, no one in their right mind is gonna try and grab a ledge dash. I would say most of the time, especially where the mix up now is laser, laser double laser, or sorry, ledge into double laser. They might try and swing at you and get a nair and trade, or they might do a down tilt and try and poke at your feet. So that's why like doing like ledge dash into crouch. Obviously my Falco ledge dashes aren't that great, but just doing this is super super strong. Top level foxes abuse this all the time. Just people trying to swing recklessly at a ledge dash. But yeah, I would say those are like three small examples. But specifically, we were talking about before this range of dash attack, JC fair, drift in fair, right? So let's just assume, just for example's sake, Marth is standing right here, right?
Mhm.
And you're over here. Yeah, at any point when you're doing these lasers, Marth could dash attack and hit you, or you could jump cancel fair. But just as easily, you can just downhold, and you'll destroy him for that, right? That would be literally all three of those options, except for maybe grab. We didn't talk about grab, but dash attack range, JC fair, drift and fair. But at that point, it's like he has to beat those three options alone. He has to beat you full hopping here. He has to beat you like going back. He has to beat like it's a 1 in a million that he has to hit this jump cancel fair. So if he does, or sorry, jump cancel grab. If he does grab you in this spot, that's just an outplay in that position, and that's okay. Those things exist in melee, but the point being, this mix up is so extremely not in his favor where you can get a big punish, right? So
Yeah.
it's like it is something you have to abuse a lot more, I would say, in general. Is just crouch canceling. And those are three examples I think of where you could bring it a lot more just to get your brain kind of spinning on it.
Sweet. Mostly in neutral, you're thinking, right? Or are there like should I be crouching out of combos too?
I don't think you have to necessarily be doing it out of combos, but let's say like a big one would be like, let's say you end a combo early percent, right? And you get like shine back air as a combo, right? You like down air shine, and then you get off the shine, you get a back air or something, right? And then Marth is falling down on you. A lot of Marths will just like autopilot land on you with that fair, because they think like, oh, like I can hit him, he's just standing there, right? Crouch at the last second, you'll get another shine off that. You can get a down air, and then you can get a bigger like mid% combo, right?
Yeah.
Or you could even get, instead of shine, you could do CC up tilt if you wanted, because he's landing. You probably have enough time for that. So yeah, it's like in neutral, but I think the main point of crouch cancel, I would say nowadays, more so as like a direct response to any move, it's almost like a bait. Like it's like, yeah, you're gonna try and hit me here. Well, let's see you try to do it, and then you CC them and you get a punish, right? And I would say that's how you want to play Falco in general. It's like, yeah, you're gonna try and get in. Okay, let's see how you do it. And you do that with lasers. CC is just another tool you can add to that. And I think you get a lot of mileage out of it. So I would say out of anything, like giving up too much space, and obviously like going to the air is like the opposite of this, but 1 in 3, quote unquote, are more related than either. Oh shoot, that's not what I meant to do. So I would say try these two first if you're gonna be playing, and then go from there. The third one,
Yeah. I keep the pressure on him more just by crouching and being a wall that he can't move past.
yeah, exactly. And I would say like especially even just on platforms, like it's just another layer of defense that you have, right? So it's a big one that's missing right now. The last one is killing Marth off stage. I'm just gonna put up our VOD from the game we were watching just a minute ago real quick again. But you actually have a lot of opportunities to kill me off stage, and we talked about that a little bit at the beginning of the lesson. So I'm just gonna wait till you get me off stage here. But like I said, the big thing about edgeguarding Marth in general, and I'm just gonna turn off the Slippy volume real quick just so I can hear myself talk. A big thing about killing Marth in neutral, or sorry, killing Marth off stage, is eliminating his resources, right? You want him to waste his resources in side B and double jump to get a kill. And just while this playing, I just want to wait and see if we can pop any. But the big one I'm noticing is that you're not punishing Marth side B nearly enough. So right here, oh, maybe not. Normally I would side B there. Just it's a very scrub habit I have right now of just side Bing against Falco specifically. Because I don't do that against Fox, but I do it against Falco quite a bit. But anyway, Marths will side B in that no fly zone, right? And I think you get ready to hit it, but you don't commit to it. That's too bad, I would say, because a lot of the time when you're doing it, you're invincible on ledge. And I think you're scared to get hit, it seems, even still while you have invincibility. But you don't need to be. So I'm just going to let it play, and we'll see when it happens. But there's a couple times where I'm just side being right near the ledge, and you just don't go out and back air me nearly enough. So we'll get there, but that's really the fourth point. I want to say it's a minor point, but it is very big for you to get a big hit, but it's not really something we need to talk about a ton. It's just something to be aware of so that you're playing next time you hit it a little more, you know?
I would have probably got them when you're above me at least.
Sorry? No, I feel like you did, but like there's one right there, right? So like right here, you grab the ledge, fully invincible. This is a reactable point. Like this whole thing is reactable. Instead, and I think you do react here because you do double jump down air. But I think the point being just to have like a little bit more confidence and just like drift out back air. Like you'll be fully invincible even still when you drew that drift out back air there, right?
So I need to go a little slower and drift out more.
I don't even know if necessarily you need to be a little slower. Like I think here, the instant back air could work. I think it's just a matter of like you're drifting in and it's almost in place kind of thing. It's not literally in place, but it's like almost you're drifting in still. I think it's just having the confidence to go out there a little, you know, like full drift out. I would say because you'll kill him if you do it. So I would say that's one. That's like the last like big habit I've noticed. So really I've given you 3 habits because 1 and 2 are kind of answers for each other. But they are their own separate things. So really those are like the 4 I would say. And like I said, not to necessarily go down like rabbit holes or anything, but I think they're like big important points that you need to like really bring in a little more.
That last edge guard, the one right before this where you're kind of going down, stalling out with jump. I feel like that situation happens all the time, and maybe I should just be lasering more early on. I feel like I don't answer it well enough.
Yeah, I would say so. You're grabbing the ledge a little too early. So like I said, right, the point of Marth edgeguarding is to limit his resources. So you hit him for side being here, which is great. And I agree that you are good at that. But you know he already has his double jump here, right? So just to keep him like pushing out a little bit, it's gonna effectively force him to use his double jump, right? Because if you stop him from coming in, right? Because what laser does, I think a lot of Falcos kind of forget this, is what laser does here is pay attention to how Marth is drifting, right? With side B. Once he starts, he's just moving to the right slowly but surely, right? But he is like strictly just moving to the right. There's no like drift mix up. All side B does with Marth, I think a lot of people get confused on this too. Side B doesn't like stall you in place and then you get to drift. Side B just slows your fall, right? But what laser does, which is so great, is it kills your drift momentum completely. So if Marth tries to keep doing side Bs after this, if he keeps trying to do side B, it's just going to be in place. He has to restart his drift. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So why that's important is if you force Marth low below the ledge with lasers while he's drifting out far like this, he has to use his double jump. So then it's fine to grab the ledge because it's like, okay, you know he has to use it to keep getting back underneath below the ledge. But if he's already like quote unquote below the ledge like this where he's able to double jump and hit you, there's really not too much you can do other than like maybe try and do an invincible shine down and hit him, or like have the timing call out, right? Like you could be invincible here and back air him for this, right? You didn't get hit by that. So that means you could have back aired him in that spot. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's like you either have the mix up of, I know you're going to swing at me, I'm going to back air you for it. And like I'm sure you've done that a million times already, just having a read on someone. But otherwise it's like, okay, I know you have to use your double jump here. you can either give him the ledge, which like at this point I would say the Marth effectively recovered because you grabbed the ledge too early. Or what you could do while you're invincible, like you are actionable here, you could Firebird stall, and that would beat it because he's swinging at you already. Like if you're invincible and you know he's gonna swing, you could reactively like Firebird, re-grab the ledge, and he wouldn't be able to punish you for it because he's gonna be in lag from up being, or sorry, from forward airing. But I would say in general, this was just way too early of a ledge grab anyway. So I'm talking about like the back air or the Firebird. Those are options if you find yourself in this spot. But I would probably say because you didn't get rid of his resources beforehand, don't grab the ledge.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially if I'm at like a higher percent. Because I feel like it's a little risky to Firebird refresh. Like it doesn't always go right. But
it doesn't, but it is very solid because it's effective. It's especially good against Marth. It's unironically, I would say Firebird starts I'm just gonna say Firefox. I'm getting so caught up by saying Firebird, sorry. But Firefox stall is actually very good against Marth with Falco specifically because it doesn't have the flames that Marth can up B into, right? There's only one frame of invulnerability on it, but a lot of the time when they swing and you start the stall anyway, it's not gonna work. So they're effectively forced on stage every time, and then you at least get a down air and a down air, a back air, or a shine punish if you wanted.
Okay.
But it is actually better than a Firefox stall. But yeah, you just have to I would say just knowing when to use it's more important. Like I wouldn't recommend Firefox stalling like whenever, like every time Marth is off stage, but definitely if he's like if he's about to swing at you and you're still invincible enough where you'll get past the swing, it's super worth it then. But yeah, I know we're a little over time. If you have the time, I'm just gonna watch the second game, and I just want to point out some more edge guard opportunities because it did come up quite a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the big one I would say is punishing Marth for side B, right? Side B is unironically like a great target practice for Falco, if ironically enough, like, because like I said, the point is eliminating his resources. So if you're able to just try and hit him when he's far out with laser and kill his momentum, it's gonna force him to use his double jump. And like I said, that's a big goal you're looking for. But otherwise, no, I would say you played the corner very solidly compared to last time. I can definitely like see the improvement. And I think once you start implementing like more platform usage and CC into your game, especially the two combined, it's going to be very scary because it's like I think your laser pressure already is like decently well, especially like I said in the corner. And like if you're able to mix up where you are and still be a threat, and then on top of it for the third point, which is like not giving up too much space. Like obviously that was a free ledge grab, but yeah. On top of it not giving up space, it's like it's going to feel like that pressure is on all the time with Falco, right? Which is ironic because it's like really what you're doing is playing a little bit more defensive, but from the Marth's perspective, the pressure is on way more. And that's you're going to get closer to what effectively which is your real goal, which is to force a response out of him. Because I almost like to think of it as like a chain chomp kind of thing. Like you get too close to the chain chomp, and then he'll bite at you kind of thing in Mario, or like a dog on a leash, or like a dog in a cage. Sorry, like they're gonna bite eventually, you know. It's just a matter of keeping that pressure up and putting it on effectively, I would say.
Yeah.
But like,
there's a lot of options for it.
Sorry.
Just like the laser crouch, is just a second.
Yeah. Well, maybe not at 183, but yeah, like the positioning wise, for sure.
Right. Yeah. When do you worrying about crouch cancel? Is that like 70?
No, it's like it's way later depending on the move. Like, I don't have Falco's crouch cancel document in front of me, but I would recommend just looking up this. Hold on, I have it in a DM with one of my students from a little while ago. Give me one sec. I just need to find who it was because I remember we talked about it like so recently actually. Either way, I'll show you like how I have it here. I have it in my notes. So there's a document I might have it pinned. No, it doesn't matter. I'll just search this exactly why I can just do it in notes. I can search CC, and where it is here. There's a document for Marth players, but it shows every percent you can crouch cancel moves until. So I can see that I can CC against Falco's, like, what is it? His down air. Let's see his down air. Where's that? Because you can CC Falco down air.
Fourth line.
Fourth? Down tilt.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I don't know where it is. Anyway, let's just say back air because it's more common.
MPA.
Until 66 is true back air CC percent, right? I can do it full, or sorry, that's regular. I think this is full stale, just 72, but this is the one I'll pay attention more to, just to be more conservative. But you can also ASDI it down, so like you can dash dance, and anyway, this document very, very strong, I would say, and I'm sure there's one for Falco, like they're almost definitely. But yeah, that's how you kind of know. So it's like, okay, how long can I CC like Falco jab until, like, if I'm at like a crazy high percent, I would just look at this document before I'm playing and I'd be like, okay, let's see Falco jab. Let's just do this. Control F jab. Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess if I'm trying to decide, like, when do I stop worrying about laser crouch or thinking of it as an option, it's got to be when the character's like biggest moves will beat it.
I would say contextual to when you think it is, because like I said, there's crouch is so universal, and like laser crouch especially is contextual to like how far away. Like if you're doing laser crouch in the corner, you might only really be concerned about like nair or fair, right? Really nothing else. But if you're doing like laser crouch in center stage, like maybe he's gonna do a down tilt, he might try a dash attack to get underneath you, right? Like certain moves kind of become more available at certain percents.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, point B, I just wanted to show that replay off just to show off some more instances where you can back air me for side being, because I think it's like really, really important. But yeah, I would say in general that'd be what you're looking for with side B, or sorry, not side B, with CC. Sorry, but yeah, okay. So those are the three really, but four big spots I think you can take from here. Definitely, like, and the thing is, they're not very like one specific answers, but I would say try this one the most, and just see where it's working for you, where it's not, and take it from there. There's also tons of guides on like how to abuse CC as Falco, or I guess just in Spacies in general. So you can look into that. But yeah, any questions before we end things here?
No, I don't think so. This was awesome.
Okay.
I did notice one of your comments last time was jump out of the slide off DI, so I still got to work on that. But
Yeah,
really helpful tips.
yeah, it's no problem. Yeah, I would say specifically if you're going to use slide off, the moves to use it for against are up air and fair. You can also use it on up tilt on a platform, but you have to use a different DI for up tilt. So that's, just keep that in mind, I guess. But
Up tilt's like the reverse slide off DI, right?
Sorry?
To slide off DI against up tilt, you
should do the reverse. Yeah.
You got it reverse, yeah.
Yep. No, that's exactly it. And the reason is because sometimes it senses a more like horizontal angle. So yeah. Anyway. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have for you today. Definitely, I would say work on these two the most, and just while you can, pay attention to this one. This one's very Marth specific. But I think if you watch your VODs back after playing, like, you'll kind of see more opportunities for that and just be a little bit more ready for it. But this is more so about, I'm just going to even write it too, eliminating side B as an option, so he is forced to go low as one, and then straight up back gearing side B closer to ledge in the no fly zone, right? And we talked about also like different mix-ups you could do if you grab the ledge a little preemptively, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend it a ton so early when you know he has options, but yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I think this just as feedback as a player, this format is really effective, like finding a few common and noob things I'm doing and just going deep on how to correct them. It's
Sure.
really helpful.
Yeah, it's no problem at all. Okay, so I will leave it to you for there. Please let me know if you have any thoughts after the lesson, and if you find things are working well or not. Like I said, you can always just DM me and give me your thoughts. I can give you some thoughts back. But yeah, I hope to hear from you soon. I'll have this up to you on YouTube as soon as possible. But yeah, we'll talk soon.
Awesome. Thanks very
No
much.
problem.
Take care.
Have a good one. Bye.